Behind that super slick interface of your favorite delivery app, there's this hidden battle being fought. And it's not about flashy new features or anything like that. It's about something way more critical: precision. Today, we're going to unpack how one company totally redrew its map of profitability, all by answering a simple question that you have definitely asked yourself before.
Come on, you've been there, right? One night, your pizza shows up in like 20 minutes with no delivery fee. Awesome. But then the very next night, the same exact order takes an hour and costs you $5 more. It feels totally random, but I'm telling you, it's not. It's actually the result of a company struggling to see its own business clearly. And the way they figured it out is, well, it's pretty fascinating.
For a major food delivery service, the entire problem came down to this one fundamental shift. See, they used to see their customers in these kind of fuzzy old-school categories, like urban millennials. But what they learned was that profitability isn't really about who you are. It's about where you are. The future, it turns out, is in seeing the market not as types of people, but as specific places, like high-frequency order zones. So let's break down how they got there.
Okay, so the root of the issue was what we're going to call the segmentation problem. The company really thought they knew their customers, but their traditional labels weren't just a little bit off. They were actually hiding the truth and costing them millions in invisible losses.
I mean, just look at these categories: urban millennials, families, students. They seem logical, right? Of course they do. But that's the trap. These segments are so incredibly broad that they're practically useless. Think about it. A millennial living right downtown has completely different ordering habits and a totally different profitability than another millennial living just 10 blocks away. But the company, they were treating them as if they were exactly the same person.
This blurry vision, this lack of focus, led the company right into 5 distinct business traps. And these are pitfalls that are, believe me, incredibly common when you don't have a sharp, clear picture of your own market.
And here they are, the 5 traps that this blurry data creates. First, as we just saw, their customer segments were way too broad. This led directly to the second problem: conflicting incentives, where they just couldn't keep customers, restaurants, and drivers happy all at the same time. Third, they got caught in this constant tug-of-war between their urban and suburban markets. All of this pushed them into wasteful, expensive price wars, and finally, it made them dangerously slow to react when customer habits suddenly changed.
Let's just focus on trap number 2 for a second, because it's a classic challenge for basically any platform business out there. They weren't just serving one customer, right? They were trying to keep 3 completely different groups happy at the same time. And often, what one group wanted was the exact opposite of what another group wanted.
And wow, this table just lays it all out perfectly, doesn't it? Look here. You, the consumer, you want fast, cheap delivery. Simple. The restaurant, the merchant, wants more high-value orders and wants to pay as little commission as possible. And the driver? Well, the driver wants to make as many trips as they can over the shortest distance for the highest pay. Trying to make all 3 of them happy with one single, broad strategy is, well, it's pretty much impossible.
Then you have this massive tension between the city and the suburbs. I mean, delivering a single meal in a dense downtown area is a completely different economic beast than delivering a huge family order in a sprawling suburb. The city is a premium, high-margin market that's all about convenience. The suburbs, that's a mass market built on volume and scale, and trying to serve both of those with the same strategy is just a recipe for failure.
The final trap was just being too slow. When the world changed after the pandemic, things like hybrid work completely rewrote the rules for the lunchtime rush, and suburban demand just exploded. The company's old, blurry data became totally obsolete, almost overnight. They were stuck reacting to these huge shifts months after they happened, just constantly playing catch-up.
So how in the world do you fix all this? Well, the answer was to change their perspective entirely, to stop looking at spreadsheets full of customer data and start looking at a map, a live, breathing map of their entire business. What they did was implement something called a live geographic intelligence layer. I know, it's a bit of a mouthful, but the concept is actually really simple and incredibly powerful. Just think of it like a smart map. It takes all of that messy data, customer behavior, restaurant locations, where the drivers are, even what competitors are doing, and it connects all of it to a specific physical location, all in real time.
So here's the crucial point. With this new tool, profitability was no longer just some abstract average number for the entire city. It became visible. They could literally see which streets were making them money and which streets were losing them money block by block.
And this new vision? It unlocked a completely new playbook. They could finally stop painting with that broad brush and start making precise, surgical strikes. Suddenly, with this map, they could see these incredible pockets of value that were totally hidden before. They could pinpoint not just families, but specific neighborhoods with tons of high-frequency orders. They could identify the true high LTV customer pockets, see exactly where competitors were strong, and, just as importantly, spot the areas where offering discounts was a complete and utter waste of money.
So, what was their first new play? Compete surgically. Instead of getting into these costly citywide price wars with their rivals, they could now identify zones where they were already winning and just double down. Or they could pick off a competitor's weak spot with a super targeted promotion that only runs on a few specific streets. It's all about fighting smarter, not harder.
Second, they could finally solve that impossible three-sided marketplace problem. With the map, they could design and manage specific delivery zones where everything aligned perfectly. A high density of frequent customers, located right near popular restaurants, with just the right number of drivers nearby to handle all the demand. It creates this perfect, profitable little ecosystem where everybody wins. And third, they could finally tailor their strategy to the location. This meant they could stop fighting that urban versus suburban battle. They could run a premium, high-margin model in those dense city corridors, and at the same time, run a scale-focused high-frequency model out in the suburbs. Two completely different business models operating perfectly within the same city.
So as we wrap this up, the big aha moment for the company was that the core challenge they were facing, the thing that was costing them millions, it was never really about the logistics of delivery at all. And this right here is the single insight that changed everything for them. They didn't have a delivery problem, they had a segmentation precision problem. All those other issues were just symptoms of this one core inability to see their market with enough detail.
Honestly, this slide right here is probably the most important takeaway. The most powerful shift happening in business right now is this move away from segmenting by who, your age, your income, and towards segmenting by where and how you act in the real world. And why is this so revolutionary? Because demographics are really just a guess about your behavior, but your location, that's a fact. The economics of a specific location is where the real value and the real truth is found.
Which leaves us with one final thought. This isn't just about food delivery. This kind of geographic intelligence is being used everywhere. In retail, in real estate, you name it. It kind of makes you wonder, what invisible maps are shaping the prices you pay, the ads you see, and the choices you have every single day? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.